Good evening, Danvers. Welcome to the Topics of the Town News, September 19th edition. John Toomey is here with me, and I am Mark Zuberek. I'm the reporter on record, I guess. What I like to do is the Topics of the Town News reporting is direct and comprehensive. We use the DCAT facilities as provided to Danvers residents. And just to give you a quote of the mission statement of Danvers Cable Access is Danvers Community Access Television Incorporated is a nonprofit membership-based organization governed by the DCAT Board of Directors, which is dedicated to providing video and media production tools to encourage the free exchange of information and ideals of Danvers, while bringing the community together through media production, instruction, and community collaboration. As subscribers to Verizon or Comcast, we support this organization through our taxes and fees that we pay on a monthly basis through our bills. I just wanted to get that into the record because I think it's a very important factor of what DCAT is and what it's supposed to be doing. We'll get back to that mission statement a little later on, but today's updates, John, are basically Topics of the Town programming, update, and recent stories. Last show, we had the Liberty Street and Route 62 interchange signal issues by Peter Kushnarek. And as a matter of fact, I spoke to him this afternoon. And as usual, the town for 2 months now has not even approached or asked any questions or directed any solution to Peter's issues that are present at that location. So I will keep track of the issues and report on them next show as well.
Well, let me throw in, this is what I've been saying all along. Unless the average person gets involved, make some noise, get a hold of the town manager, get a hold of selectmen, and tell them basically that you are concerned and they should do something. Otherwise, they're not going to do anything.
Well, see, the thing is that we pay our taxes, we support the town management team in town hall. We are charged for every service that is provided to us. The thing is that the town is not responsive.
They're busy. They're keeping busy. They're doing very well. The town is run very well. But most of what we're talking about are not great deals, no big important things. These are things that the average taxpayer out there is concerned about because it involves them. Therefore, they have to put it across that they are concerned.
And most of our stories today are related to personal experiences of our residents, of where they live and how they're being treated by the town departments. Second story is just a follow-up, and it's a quick one. What has been reported to me is that Jalbert Lane, which has been contested by the kind of vote that was taken at the selectmen's meeting, Jalbert Lane, as far as my source, is no longer viable for a housing lot or to build a home on that lot because it is wetlands, just like some of the selectmen at that particular board meeting reported, is that it's wetlands and there's no access to to the Conservation Commission to get a relief on that. So that lot will become available to the residents if they want to acquire it if they wish to. If not, it'll become vacant and it'll be a non-taxable wetlands lot.
Well, that's as to the town.
As to the town, correct. So what has happened is the town has assumed the responsibility for that lot when the development was built, and now they are non-tax collection on that particular piece of property. But it's because of wetlands, and it cannot be built on. So this property should be offered to the adjoining residents, whether they want to participate in acquiring it and assuming the responsibility for the taxes. The third item on here, and this is just little stories that we've picked up. You've picked up a story in regards to the Peabody Institute Library, and it seems like there's no information available of what actually happened, why it happened, how long it happened, and it is back in operation, which is a great
There doesn't seem to be any problems.
success story. Have you been back there?
Oh, yeah.
And so the thing is, information has been clamped down because the only information that gets into the newspapers or to reporters is what the town manager wants to send out. It's like CNN, sending out false news.
Well, everything that I have heard has been the same. We're looking at it and we haven't found out yet what caused it. I mean, somewhere along the line, they've got to come up with why.
Well, we're going to have to invite Alex to come on the show and tell us. That would be the way to do it. Story number 2, and these will be new and current stories. And John has a clip for the 9/11 memorial at the Brothers breakfast place in downtown Danvers. So if you run clip number 1.
Preparation for morning patrol. 8 paramedics went to sleep in preparation for the morning shifts of saving lives. None of them saw past 10 a.m. on September 11th, 2001. We remember with special love and respect and pray for the blessed memory and the eternal repose of the souls of the victims of this barbaric attack on September 11th. In prayer at this time, let us pray to the Lord. Lord, have mercy. O Lord, we pray for the blessed memory and eternal repose of the souls of the innocent victims of the attack on America on September 11th, of those who are great from above, and those wounded by this unjust attack, for their salvation, complete restoration of their health. May their memory be eternal. Amen.
Thank you, Father. My personal case, the day before the flight, I got the word in my business trip.
Work at the World Trade Center site. She developed cancer because of that. And last year left her family, 4 children under the age of 13. Will never see their mom again. So I happened to be reading an article the other day, and it said, I'm just talking about the World Trade Center site, but over 10,000 first responders went down there subsequent to 9/11 to work and try to find a couple of victims.
My job is to fill in the holes because just about everything's been said. Well, let me begin by first thanking Father for being here. You know, he's not just a regular priest. Father is the chief of staff of our bishop, Metropolitan Authorities, and he's taken the time out to come out to be here this morning. And I think it shows the respect that the church and the community has for Carrie and Penny and all of the love that we have for them and for what they do, how they started this event in their kitchen 18 years ago and grew and grew and grew to today. My other housekeeping work is to just let you know that
Before I begin,
again, I want to say
Also, Parapoli. I'm sure I do. Thank you very much. My best attempt. My esteemed colleagues and our esteemed
representatives here today, to all of you who join us today on this day that we celebrate life. Chai, 18, the number 18 in the Jewish tradition.
All of us remember that day, that time, and never forget that type of moment in our history when the world turned upside down. While the storm clouds gather far across the sea, let us pledge allegiance to a land that's free. Let us all be grateful for a
Well, John, that was
Not
quite
bad.
an experience, and we need a lot of thanks to Kerry, who is the owner and operator of the Brothers Restaurant. He served breakfast to everyone that attended, and we had a whole bunch of politicians, clergy, the rabbi was there. The situation was all encompassing.
It was a good group.
This was the private side of the ceremony.
Yes.
And we'll have another segment coming up in a little while in regards to the commemoration of the firefighters of the 9/11. I remember that on 9/11, I was in Londonderry, New Hampshire, building a gas-powered power plant that was under construction, and we were all rushed out of a meeting that we were at to go and watch the episode of the planes hitting the Twin Towers. So it was a moving occasion, because at that time, that was the first time that continental United States was actually struck by the death of 3,000 people.
It's just unbelievable what has been going on for the past 18 years. Fortunately, let's say the numbers have not been as big, but it just seems to be very consistent.
Well, we have another segment coming up in a few minutes, but in the meantime, what we want to do is we want to introduce a new segment. Well, really is not new. It's about 2 years, maybe 3 years old. Brentwood residents, Brentwood Circle residents, which adjoins the marsh or swamp of Endicott Park, have experienced another beaver invasion.
Beavers?
Beavers! Those little guys with those flat tails that build dams and pour water into basements of residences in our
Did
neighborhoods.
they build a dam?
They had 2 dams in there,
Two.
I understand. But let me just give you a little brief overview of what this thing really looks like. Let's go clip Beaver 1. This is Old Maple Street, where the culvert runs from the right to the left, from Endicott Park to the swamp behind Danvers Animal Hospital. So that is one location. That's where everything has been dammed up because of the water flow has stopped. Let's go to number 2. Beaver number 2 clip is the opening looking from the culvert on Old Maple Street towards the neighborhood at Brentwood and Endicott Park. This is the opening underneath, which was basically flooded, and water flow was not coming through at all. This is the other side where the beavers have dammed up and the water was rising into neighbors' basements and into their backyards. Now, with all this situation with the Tripoli infestation of mosquitoes, that's a breeding ground for mosquitoes.
How many beavers you say this is?
Well, they don't know exactly how many beavers, but to date, I was told that they have captured 3. Now, I don't know how many more they're going to get, but it took the town health department to issue an emergency permit for the trapper to go out there and trap the beavers, because those guys are going to build until winter comes, and then they vegetate underneath in their dens. This issue has been, after 2 years of respite, the beavers are back at Brentwood and Old Maple Street location. The neighborhood was getting flooded and requested town support. Permit was granted by the health department and the Conservation Commission to go and trap the beavers.
Who traps the beavers?
They hire a trapper that goes out and puts out traps for them, and he confiscates them and moves them, or whatever he does to them, I don't care. And neighbors don't care either. Permit was granted and the trapper was sent. It only took about a month for them to get their attention at Town Hall, but they got their attention. The beaver dams need to be removed so the water can flow and the neighborhood cannot be further affected and needs maintenance of the culverts.
What are the dams made of?
Branches, wood chips, logs, whatever they can find, they build their
They just pile it up and
Yeah, they pile it up and then they move on the inside where there's no water, and they can swim underneath and go and forage for food, and they love bark, but new bark. So they're looking for food. But the problem is that, excuse me, the issue is not new. The issue has been brought up very extensively 3 to 2 years ago. The neighborhood was infested with beavers at that time, and I believe at that time they captured at least 6 or 7 beavers. So the family has moved back in, they've expanded. Now what we need, and that's what we were promised, this is my neighborhood as well, we were promised that the passageway of the water in the culvert was going to be kept clear. But it seems like that has been forgotten. And the neighbors had to go and remind Town Hall that there's an issue. And the blockage of that trench and the culvert is really not even at Old Maple. It's down Nickel Street where they're building the new condos. And the thing is that I'm wondering whether that is having an effect on the backup of the water.
so the problem's getting bigger.
The problem did get bigger. Now, hopefully, if they interject their trapper and then go in and destroy the I
This
don't
is
know.
something new. To me, anyway, I haven't heard about beavers and Danvers. Never.
3 years ago, we had a big show on it.
Oh,
We had a big show at the selectmen's meeting as well. And at that time, they reacted. The town reacted very well. I personally spoke to the foreman. I can't remember his name right now, but that has all gone away. They've forgotten about that particular neighborhood.
Is this something that are beavers around here a lot, or?
Absolutely. Anywhere there's standing water or flowing water, they love moving in, and then they build their dams, and that water backs up so they can go hunting in there and whatever. So that is our beaver story. I am happy to report that the town has responded, but we need continued maintenance and disposal of the dams that are in there. So we'll follow this up, and maybe what we'll have is invite one of the beavers. What do you think, John?
I think that's something you should get, is get the autograph of.
Maybe we'll get a play beaver and put him up on a table here. It'll be fun. But it's a serious situation for our neighbors. And this is at Brentwood, Old Maple, and Nichols Street. So we need to address that. Next story is, again, your story in regards to the 9/11 memorial. And this is in regards to the fire station memorial and the flagpole that the
Well, this is in
ceremony-
honor of the remembering the victims and the first responders whose lives were lost during this 9/11 terrorist attack.
And we in Danvers have experienced very close residents, or the flight attendant that was killed. So it's something that is close to our heart. So if you can run clip number 2. Well, I thought that was a tremendous outpouring of support from the town of Danvers for remembrance of 18 years ago. 18
It was nice
years
to
ago.
see that many people show up.
Well, I'll tell you, it's been a community that's been involved, and the firemen, police, ambulance are very responsive to our
Yes.
needs, but they're also are in a brotherhood, basically, and they remember the firemen and policemen in New York City and throughout the whole country, because the whole country was affected by this. And it is a strike against the American people. And the thing is, we, as the Second World War, concentration camps and everything else, they can never be forgotten. This should never be forgotten as well, because
That's true.
it's a direct hit to our existence. So, thank you, John, for the story. That was, I took a couple of pictures, but you got the whole ceremony, so.
Well, thank you to Brothers for putting on their section of it.
Yes.
And the fire department for putting on their section. It's the kind of thing we need to bring back the memories.
And we need to keep it in our minds, so, in our hearts. So thank you, John, and thank you, Kerry, for hosting the brothers' breakfast. I didn't expect that, but it was very well attended, and he serves the best Greek food, whether it's breakfast, lunch, or dinner. It doesn't matter. You and I have been going there as a matter of meeting for preparation for the show, and it's always been hosted very well. And Kerry sometimes comes over and discusses things with us. So, the next story, it's more of my pet peeve, and I don't know whether I'm persistent, but I, as everybody knows, I have always been persistent in regards to stories that I follow. And I am following again the Municipal Light Board update. At the monthly meeting on September 17th, I read the following little release that I've prepared, because I am very, very concerned about how they're handling this Municipal Light Board DPU investigation of the spending that has happened over the last 4 or 5 years that was not related to electric customers' service, but related to Danvers DPW services that they have been providing. During the most recent Danvers Municipal Light Board meeting on July 30th, the Municipal Light Board was very disturbed and conflicted in why the residents, and particularly the petitioners, were asking for an investigation. This issue has been discussed by the Municipal Light Board, and the only answers we got was that the legal cost should be charged against the 39 petitioners, and the petitioners should be sent a letter advising them of such action.
What are the legal costs? What is legal?
Let me finish this. I'll get to it. Or that they may be allowed to opt out of the petition to avoid a threat of a surcharge for the cost of litigation by the town. The legal cost they're talking about is the response that they have been asked to provide to the Department of Public Utilities regarding the spending of resident customers.
That's a financial cost.
It is. Now,
They should have records of all their finances.
no, they're talking about their time and effort that they had to prepare the response to the DPU, the attorney's fees that they had to pay
Why
to
do they
the
need
town
an
attorney.
attorney if they're doing just record keeping?
Because they are defending themselves, because the costs were spent for purposes other than electric company maintenance and facilities or operations.
So the legal questions is their problem because of what they did.
They're covering their butt. The town manager made it clear that this action was frivolous by the petitioners. So the town manager, responding to the petitioners that have sent in, and I was one of the petitioners, sent this petition into the town to the DPU, and he feels it's frivolous. This is an absurd approach to addressing the concerns of the Danvers Electric customers. This was a direct threat of retaliation to ratepayers and intimidation of our petitioning residents. DPU is the governing authority and must step in to protect our customers and viability of the company. The personal attacks on me and the electric customers must stop.
This isn't any attack. It's a question.
No, it's a threat that they are going to pass on the costs of, they're talking about $115,000.
Well, they're passing it on regardless.
It's being paid by the customers anyway. The personal attacks on me and the electric customers must stop, and we must be able to look under the covers of the inappropriate spending by the Danvers
The
Electric Company.
taxpayer and the ratepayer should know where the money is going.
And why is it going there, and is it legal to go there?
Well, why is it going there is because they can do it without asking questions or permission.
That's right. The Municipal Light Board rubber stamps everything that the town manager wants to do, and the Municipal Light Company is being run by the Director of the Department of Public Works. So there certainly is a conflict of interest between the two. So that was my initial volley at the meeting. But I would like to just clip Municipal Light Board clip A, B, and C, but let's run A first.
Okay, next item on the agenda. Dave, for the other guys, if you could explain what the DPU 1975 is.
Sure. I printed out copies for the board members off the, this is on the website, on the DPU website. So this is
I went looking for
DPU.
it and didn't find anything here.
Oh, yep, it's all up there, 19-75. So this is, back in February of 2018, Mr. Zuberek, he took the comments that he brought to town meeting and turned it into a petition that he had a number of our customers sign. Copy of that is attached here, and he sent it into the DPU with their concerns that they wanted certain items investigated. Those include the items that we talked about at town meeting, and we've talked about at this meeting numerous times, and we've talked about at the selectmen numerous times. Those items include the advanced contribution that the Danvers Electric made towards its retirement liability, the money that Danvers Electric has spent to maintain its right-of-ways, the money Danvers Electric has spent for intersection improvements, and the loan for the water meters. Town manager he's working with town council and Chris Pollard to respond to the DPU's investigation. We're just going to provide to them the same answers that we gave to town meeting, same answers that we give to finance committee and the selectmen on how each item was addressed and how the funds from Danvers Electric were used. And once that letter gets written, I should be able to give you guys a copy to look at. I will say I know the town manager and the selectmen are not happy about the costs of that. Substantial legal fees and staff time is being put into that again for questions that were previously asked and answered, and but that's ongoing.
That was the volley that was sent out by the Director of Public Works on July 30th, and that's when the response for the investigation was required to be submitted on August 1. I read the response, I have the response, and the response does not address any of the issues that have been identified, except for the fact that the town manager, in his wisdom, has dictated a letter that basically sends the message that I am the agitator, investigator, and I cannot accept the facts that they are presenting. And they're using past accusations. And one of the accusations that I'm an agitator is that I went to the water and sewer stockpile of contaminated dirt. He used that in his letter, that I'm just a agitator that doesn't know when to stop. The problem is that the positions that I have taken have always been true positions, and the thing is that the town manager does not want to accept them because he feels like somebody is watching over his shoulder. So the thing is, we'll continue. Let's go to clip number 2.
Maybe we can find out if they are in fact customers. There are consequences. Everything in life comes down to choices and problem solving. And there are consequences for your choices. A lot of people, when they sign something, they don't know what they're getting in for. These things could have all been addressed at a different time, and I believe they were. Maybe not to someone's satisfaction, but it is what it is. So, perhaps Peter could have somebody from his staff take a look and see, are these in fact all customers of Danvers Electric?
Yep, we can do that.
And then should we decide at some future point for an assessment, if we can do that? I really wouldn't want to stiff all of Danvers Electric customers for this, because this is an unnecessary cost.
This cost is totally unnecessary, and it's totally included in the management costs that are associated with managing the electric company. That was a reply from a municipal light board member who has been appointed by the town manager, and he's not looking out for the best interest for the residents. He's looking out for the best interest of the town manager and the way he's using the funds. So we'll continue. Go to clip number 3.
If they say we might be able to recover our costs, I know we can recover our costs because that's just part of doing business, but it's really not fair to do it to all of the customers. If we can, in fact, pass along an assessment or something, if it's found to be, these allegations were, just unfounded. And I would certainly say, maybe we can send them a letter saying, you recently signed a petition, whatever it was, and give them a phone number to call if they want to get out of it, and let them know that there's a possibility that there'll be an assessment for us to recover costs. if we can do that.
That is the low blow from the Municipal Light Board, because they are not looking out for the best interest of the residents and ratepayers. They're looking out for their own existence. So I will continue reporting on the Municipal Light Board investigation by the DPU. There has been no new events that have happened. However, the reply is available on the internet and anybody can look at it, and it is disgraceful of what kind of a response the town has made. So that concludes the Municipal Light Board. Now, the third story for tonight is we are in the House of Danvers Cable Advisory, Danvers Cable Station. We are hosts of this show because we produce it. And one thing that I like to express very clearly is that the Danvers Community Access Television, as it's called, Incorporated, is a nonprofit, membership-based organization governed by the DCAT Board of Directors. Now, I'll share the Board of Directors that are included in here, but the Board of Directors, which is dedicated to providing video and media production tools to encourage the free exchange of information and ideals of Danvers while bringing the community together through media production, instruction, and community collaboration. Each city or town that operates or permits Verizon or Comcast, or there's a new one that just came into Peabody, to operate in their town, city or town, has a community access television programming, because that is part of the law that has been implemented over the years. And you and I, John, have been associated with Danvers Cable. I don't know when you started, but I started back on School Street when it was still a little studio that we had. So we're talking 20, 25 years. The problem I'm having is that we, as co-hosts, have presented several proposals to the Board of Directors on one occasion, because they permitted us to go and sit in on the meeting and present our proposals. There were
They don't permit the public to go?
Currently, there is no invitation to the membership to attend the Board of Directors meetings. So, I mean, is this a secret little club? Are we excluded from attending these meetings and hearing what their plans are? They claim that they have business issues to deal with, financials. So what? So have recuse, everybody out of the meeting during that session. But there is business that Board of Directors does, because this is a membership-based organization governed by DCAT Board of Directors. So we have made proposals in the past. We have not received a good response because they don't want to listen to anybody from the outside. It seems like the Board of Directors is an inside organization that's been there for 15 years. Some members have been there for 10, 15 years. It used to be that during the annual meeting, which now is scheduled for September 26th, I believe, at those meetings, there used to be requests for volunteers to run for the board of directors. But over the last 10 years, I believe, there's been no requests for volunteers to run for the board of directors. They seem to send in their own people or appoint their own people that have been cooperative with their direction. I have no issues with what's going on at this facility because this facility has served us very well. We are a welcome participant in the DCAT organization. However, I strongly object to not being able to go to the Board of Directors meeting as I requested a month ago to present some of the issues that I see. And I won't involve you in this thing, but I have the issues that we have had all along. The issues is that Danvers Community Access Television is no longer Danvers focused.
It's not open to the public.
It's not open to the public. The membership has been, I don't know, they're saying that we have about 200 members. I don't know where those members are. But we have proposed reaching out for volunteers to participate in some of the shows for Danvers. We have proposed going out to the senior center and making a pitch to the seniors to come in and join us and maybe produce their own show, a cooking show. Right now, what we have for the Danvers related issues are agencies that are basically either advertising their own products, which is good information.
They're not public shows.
But they're not public shows.
Yeah. The town people are not running, they're not getting involved.
That's right. So the thing is that, you know, my issue, and I don't know, this is a business, I understand that, but this business is being supported by our tax money and fees that we pay to Verizon and Comcast. DCAT membership benefits include the following. I mean, being a member lets you inclusion on DCAT email list, exclusive access to DCAT workshops, special events, and classes for no charge, use of DCAT equipment for checkout upon completion of the certification classes for no charge. We use the DCAT equipment extensively because we have become very familiar with it, and technically sometimes we're not as well adapted, but we learn from the staff here. The staff is excellent. Advanced registration for classes, camps, and events. I mean, you know, this is a $500,000 a year business. So we're not running a kids camp here. Access to conference rooms to hold meetings in accordance with the policies and procedures. Yes, that's available. Reduced rates for DCAT birthday party attendees. I don't know. Access to the volunteer perks and prizes with the DCAT mobile application. A birthday gift on your birth month. A free gift upon registration. And I have noticed on this list recently that there's a final bullet, eligible to vote at DCAT meetings and run for DCAT Board of Directors. Well, I beg to differ that yes, you can vote, rubber stamp the recommendation by the nominating committee, but you cannot run for the board of directors because there's a nominating committee and they're the selecting body. And then they recommend that to the...
It's all controlled by one group.
Absolutely. So the problem I have, and I know that I'm, maybe criticizing myself, but there's a list of directors here, and they're all doing a great job for what their intentions are. The problem is it is not a...
There should be more town residents getting involved.
Absolutely, and it's not a membership-based organization because membership really has nothing to say about what's going on. There's all kinds of rules and regulations and procedures and litigation requirements and everything else. If you're producing a local program that's related to the town that we live in, then you should not have any issues with litigation.
Well, that's what I think is there should be more local shows.
Well, this has been my point from, 3-4 years ago when John Zavaglia and I approached the board of directors at that time about eliminating some of these restrictions for programming because it's so litigious that you can't turn around and do anything. And personal experience, I just went through a litigation, and the litigation is not a responsibility of DCAT. It's a responsibility to the individual that's involved. So I don't know where they're getting their comments from their attorney. Their attorney is making it very difficult for anyone to do anything. So I would like to bring this, and I am going to bring this to the annual DCAT board meeting, which is on September 26th, and I believe it starts at 6 p.m., where they're going to hand out all kinds of awards, which is fine. But at 7 p.m., the actual annual board meeting will take place. And I will present my points and my concerns. What I'm noticing also on the programming that's showing up on channel 36, 41, and 37, not as much on 37 and 41 for Verizon, but on 36, programs are being broadcast that are not produced in Danvers, not produced about Danvers. They are the CNN versions of the newscasts. Now, come on, guys. We might as well become CNN if that's what they want, but we need a little bit of diversity of what we have here. This is not according to your mission statement. So I will be bringing this up. Hopefully the board will listen to some of it. But I do believe that the focus has to be a little different than what it is right now. So please join us at the annual meeting, because if you're a member...
When is the meeting?
September 26th, which I think is Thursday. And it is, the awards are going to be at 6, so they can get all the kids out of here. And then they'll have the business meeting at 7. That's what I was told. So look out for your invitation. If you're a member, come and join us so we can discuss the member-based organization that we have here. So, John, right now what we have is closing comments. You have any closing comments for the show? We're 2 minutes away.
Well, I'm just thinking that this is what I've been saying right along on everything on the town. The average person should get involved in the functions of the town, the politics, and in DCAT. You can produce your own shows, you can put your own opinions out there, and all it takes is a little effort to get there. And they can train you. They have all the equipment. It's there. Do it. Use it. It's yours. You're paying for it.
And they do a tremendous job of supporting
Yes.
individuals that want to be programmers and producers. And we are thankful to all of the staff here because we have some volunteers, we have staff, and we even have the director running some of our programs. The one thing that I like to bring up to close is that the next Topics of the Town broadcast is going to be scheduled, or is scheduled, for October 3rd. And it'll be at 5 p.m. live, and we will be very responsive to report whatever happens at the DCAT board meeting, and also during the Municipal Light Board. I think they have a meeting the same day. So thank you very much, Danvers, and we'll see you on October 3rd. Any questions or any comments that you may have, please forward them to DCAT or send them directly. Call me. You have my number in the book. John's number is in the book. We do answer the phone. Good night, Danvers.
Tally ho.